So I've recorded this video like 3 times now, and I'm not happy with any of the other recordings. There's no script for this, I'm just sort of talking into a microphone right now. I just needed to get my thoughts out there regarding the new game from FromSoft that's coming out next year, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Initially, it looked really cool when I saw the trailer for this game, you know? I was watching one of the press conferences, I think it was the Microsoft one, and they showed off this game, and I was like, oh, is this the thing? This is it. This is the game that FromSoft is making. And I looked at the gameplay and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. I can't wait to hear more about it. And then I did hear more about it, and I'm not excited anymore. In fact, I'm actually kind of heartbroken. Because so much of what I love about the other From Software games, so much of what makes those games special in my eyes just isn't going to be a part of this game. And what really gets me about this is I'm seeing a lot of people applauding these decisions, saying that they were sick of the Dark Souls formula and they wanted to see something new, and you know what? That's great. There are a lot of people who wanted to see something completely fresh and completely new, and that's what we're getting. We're getting something that's similar to Dark Souls, but also very different. FromSoft has done some interviews since they revealed the game, and they've gone on record multiple times stressing that this is not an RPG. So there's no stats, there's no character customization or anything like that. It's all about the combat, you know? It's all about learning those skills and upgrading your one weapon, your little prosthetic arm there. And you're going to be apparently using a sword through the entire game, and the moveset changes depending on what upgrades you get for your arm or something. But, you know, that's not the deal breaker for me. The deal breaker was the fact that there's gonna be no online interaction at all. There's no co-op, there's no messages, there's no bloodstains, there's no shades, there's no invasions, there's no arena, there's nothing. No online whatsoever. I can only assume that there's not going to be any sort of covenant system or anything either, because that's tied heavily into the multiplayer for the most part. And for me, the online aspects of Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne are what make those games so good. Now don't get me wrong, I love the lore and storytelling and the combat and all of that stuff. I fucking love it to bits. But part of the reason I love it so much is because it's entwined with this online world. Even if you don't like the invasions, even if you're not a fan of co-op or anything like that, as you're going through these worlds, you'll sometimes see just little messages, or shades, or bloodstains, just these little tiny reminders. You're not the only person here, there's other people playing through this game at the same time as you, in the same area as you, doing the same things you're doing, exploring alongside you, and just that little sense of companionship. It was really impactful, you know? It's hard to feel truly alone when you play these games, and, well, that's not going to be the case in Sekiro. I could be wrong, but it seems to be that there's no online whatsoever. It's 100% entirely single player with no interaction from other players at all. While it may seem like I am big on PvP, and I sort of am. You know, I like the PvP in Dark Souls, specifically Dark Souls 3, but, you know, I like the PvP in all the other games as well, but that's not my favorite part of these games. My favorite part of Dark Souls is actually the co-op. I played through Dark Souls 3 with my boyfriend from start to finish. We, in fact, 100%ed the game together, and for me, that's some of my best memories. Not just in terms of Dark Souls, but in terms of gaming as a whole, or just in general. Some of my best memories are playing through these games with someone else. And the fact that I'm not going to be able to do that with Sekiro is killing it for me. I'm not excited about this game anymore. And that's kind of heartbreaking to say, because it honestly does look like a cool game. It looks fun. But about 75% of what draws me into the previous From Software games isn't going to be a part of this game. Now, apparently the storytelling and the lore and all that is going to be consistent with how they did it in Dark Souls and stuff. And the combat looks fantastic so far. It looks really cool. And it's just such a shame that they have taken out so much of what made those other games unique. And what really gets me is that there are so many people who are just happy about this. And I feel like I'm in some kind of minority. Like, did everyone suddenly start hating the online parts of Dark Souls? Did everyone just suddenly decide that being able to summon other players for co-op or get invaded and stuff is awful? Because that's not the impression I was getting up until now, but I guess there was this subset of people who just loved only the gameplay and hated interacting with other people, and they were just waiting for this chance. But what confuses me is that you don't have to play online in Dark Souls. It's very, very easy to just play those games as single-player games. Hell, they even had NPC invasions and NPC summons and developer-written messages and stuff, so that you could, still experience those aspects of the game without being online. But now we're not gonna have that chance anymore. It's all offline. I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. I just needed to get my thoughts out there regarding this game because there's been a lot of talk about it recently, and I just can't find any reason to be hyped about this game, and that hurts. It honestly does. I mean, there's still another Neo game coming out, and there's Code Vein, and both of those are probably gonna have multiplayer, so it's not like there's nothing for me to look forward to. But I was honestly super excited to hear about what FromSoft had to offer, and now I'm not. I've seen it, and I'm not impressed, and I know that there's probably gonna be another game by them sometime down the line that does give more toward what I'm looking for, but this isn't it. And I was just really sort of disheartened when I heard that so much of what I love is being stripped out. I'll get back to making my regular content soon enough. I just needed to get my thoughts out there. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye-bye.